Hashtag Impact invites you in to eavesdrop on raw and honest conversations on creating positive change in the world. I am your host, Regina Larco, and together with guests and hosts from around the globe, we encourage you to get curious about what making an impact means to you. Join the conversation and share your voice at hashtagimpact.com. Today, I am joined by two incredible women who don't just talk about creativity, they build it, they shape it, and they bring it to life here in Vienna. Sandra is a consultant who loves turning smart ideas into equally smart communication, and she's been part of the Creative Mornings Vienna community for years because she loves people and connecting. And Sabrina, founder of Ruby Red Agency, is all about making brands braver and businesses sharper. And at Creative Mornings, she's also doing just that, growing the community, growing the impact of Creative Mornings. And today I'm just so happy that we have a chance to learn from both of you how you are building communities and what drives you. I'm here with an open ear to listen and learn from both of you. Welcome to Hashtag Impact, Sandra and Sabrina.
Thank you very
Ciao.
much for your invitation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Finally, we did it.
We did it. Look at that. It's been a while in the making, and I have to give a big thanks, of course, to you and the wonderful invitation into your community and speaking on a beautiful topic. Parallel, it was a couple of months back at Creative Mornings Vienna, and you can also listen to that conversation on your wonderful podcast, the Creative Mornings Vienna podcast. And I, I always feel like I guess everyone must know Creative Mornings, right? But maybe there is a tiny chance, a crazy chance that someone comes to this conversation now and wonders, like, what is Creative Mornings actually? What is this all about, this global community of creativity? How would you try to describe what it is and what it has meant to you being part of it? Sandra, maybe you want to start?
Sure. And of course, I think the possibility there's somebody who doesn't know Creative Mornings is quite high because on every event, I mean, you notice you've been there quite a few times. There's always someone who has not heard about Creative Mornings, so we have to explain every time. And it's great because the community means also that the community is growing. You know, we don't stay the same. So let me shortly introduce Creative Mornings. It was founded 2008 in New York from Rita Rose Eisenberg, and the idea was to create a special event quite different from the classic events you may know, the big conferences, which are very exhausting and high pricing. And the idea was to create an event which takes place once a month in a city, very local, to connect people. Um, and it should be for free with a lot of voluntary work. And it is such a simple idea, but it was, spreading all over the world. And now we have more than 240 cities worldwide joining this kind of global community. And as you already know, we have this international parameters, once in a month, every last Friday, and always from 8:30 to 10, and every time a different location. But the rest is free. So the rest is we can shape this format and this community the way we like to shape it. So we have always a topic. This is from our headquarters in New York, but we can decide which perspective is maybe interesting for us, who we want to invite. And yeah, this is quite fun. So this is Creative Mornings. I don't want to say so much, but because Sabrina, I'm sure she has to add a lot. But this is the simple idea of Creative Mornings, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you first discover it, Sabrina? How did you get to know about Creative Mornings?
A while back, just before COVID hit, actually 2 weeks before the first lockdown, I moved to Hamburg, and a few years later, I decided to come back to Vienna. And I realized that I don't know a lot of people in the industry and in the city anymore. So I wanted to make new contacts, and that's why I signed up as a volunteer for Creative Mornings as soon as I knew that I would go back. So I didn't even live here by that day. Um, I think it was in July 2022, and I started off as a social media manager at first. And then I attended my first event in April 23. It was on the very day that I got the keys to my flat here. So I went to Creative Mornings, and then I hurried over to my apartment to get the keys. So actually, it was the day I came home. And also the events feel like home to me, with all the people I got to know there, with friends I met and made there, and also business partners I found via the community. And I think it's a very beautiful space we're creating there, and also giving others a stage to present their work and their creative personalities as well.
Absolutely. And just to, I guess, highlight the really global movement that this beautiful, and I love how you put that, Sandra, like this simple idea is actually. I mean, I first discovered it in Hong Kong, yeah, when I was first living there, and they had just started a chapter there. And I've been, since I found it, yeah, it was this place of belonging. It was that for me as well. And this kind of like consistency of it as well. Like you knew that you couldn't always make it, right? And you will probably see that in the events as well. And I'd love to learn from you as well how you go about that. Like, how do you get people to actually show up, and take part regularly and all that? Because for sure, we all have busy lives and you can't always make it. But even just to know it's there, and then you try your best to, and and it's always open doors, right? There's no judgment of like, no one's gonna be upset if you didn't show up for like even 2 years, right? Like you are like
Yes.
welcomed with a smile and with the coffee and the little breakfast even. Yeah, most of the times, I mean, all of the times, amazing partners that you get on board that sponsor these breakfasts. It's, I mean, it's brilliant, and to me, it has meant a lot to know that. Also, then moving back to Vienna, similarly, like for you, Sabrina, that it was one of the first things I checked.
I have to add that for me, it's the only format where you can go on your own without feeling.
Mm.
I have visiting so many conferences and workshops and events and different types. I think Creative Morning it's the only one where you can, I don't know, be yourself, because it's not a show off. People don't intend to tell other one how cool they are and how successful they are. It's very rare, I think, in the industry. And you can go there on your own, and you have every time you have somebody to talk to, you have something in common. It's very open, and I think lots of people showing up there on their own. And then there's a voluntary team, which is quite consistent over last year. We're never there on the same time, of course, but 100% there's at least one or two persons from the team, and then also from the attendees. So you never feel alone or lost. It's always, yeah, like you describe it, it's coming home. And I think it's also we discovered it also during COVID, because we tried to do the talks online, and it doesn't work at all. Not because the talks are not interesting, but because the format lives from the community and from the fact that you are going to every month you go to a different place, and you have this atmosphere and you have this get together and you can catch up and you meet friends. As also Sabrina said, lots of people became friends there also. We had some families. Also, we have a family in the team. There are team members. They met on Creative Mornings. They were volunteering, and now they are family. They can
Are
be
you serious? That's so
so yeah,
lovely.
yeah. So yeah, she was my former co-host, and yeah. So I think the special thing about Creative Mornings is um, the event itself and the fact, the mix from inspiration and meeting people and feeling home and this consistency, because everything is changing so much and so fast and the careers go up and down. But Creative Mornings is still your safe place. I don't know how to describe, and you said it before. Actually, don't do so much advertising. I mean, of course, Sabrina does a great job on social media with her team. We have a newsletter and everything, but we don't. I mean, you see it on our communication channels. We don't push people to come. We're always 100% sure that there will be people joining, and so we never choose speakers or location because we think we need people to come. Because we know they will come because our brand, Creative Mornings, is so strong that the people know it's not going to be boring. And yeah, it's great also to have a brand which is so strong over the years, it's growing. It's great.
Yeah, so for all the people listening, actually, no matter, and I know you're listening from all over the globe, you might just, go to the Creative Mornings website. I will put all that in the show notes as well. And check your city. And I'm pretty sure there's already a Creative Mornings chapter in your city. And if there isn't, you can start it, right? You could even start it yourself. You can get in touch with the headquarters in New York, and you can say, I want to be the one who starts it, because why not? Yeah. No, but it's that. And I mean, brand, this is something that both of you work a lot with, right? That I think so many people also misunderstand when they are looking at branding. What is it actually? Huh? So to me, as you and I'm only coming at it from a I'm not an expert in this field. I'm just learning while building, I guess, my own brand with hashtag impact and over the years. But what I have come to understand, that it's also a big part of it, is that feeling that you just described, Sandra, right? And like
Mm.
a trust maybe as well, like you know what to expect, and that's why you trust a certain brand. How do you see that, Sabrina?
Well, a very important factor that Sandra mentioned as well was consistency. I think that we had the feedback this year that we had to change one of our dates. It's usually the last Friday of the month, but due to a cooperation with the Vienna Business Agency, we had to change our date in May. And one of my friends who I made at Creative Mornings, he was texting me because he knew that I would co-host the event, and he saw it in my stories that the event was on the 16th of May. He texted me immediately like, what is this? Why is it today? I wanted to go there. And so people are used to our schedule, and also with the social media channels, we realized that, because when I started, we just put out the content as we got it. So we were quite glad we actually had illustrators, photographers who provided us with content, and we just threw out what we had. And then sometimes we had like 2 or 3 weeks of silence until the next event came up and there was another hype that we made. But I think it was last year, about March or April, we started to really get on it strategically. So to do a content plan. We now have fixed content formats that repeated every month. Like, I think these are make up 8 or 10 posts. So twice a week we are posting, and on a consistent basis, so people know what they're getting. Um, and so we are showing up consistently, so that others can show up consistently as well. And I think that makes up a huge part of our success.
Yes, 100%. Um, but to see it on the also on the bigger picture, when we talk about brands, and it's always the same. It's very funny because I'm a consultant. Of course, I work with many national, international brands, big ones, small ones, startups, every kind of brand, and it's always the same. It's very funny because there are so many different business models, but it's always the same, and you also can see it on Creative Mornings because I exactly remember when I got handover Creative Mornings, and then the host before he said, when you do Creative Mornings, be aware that the community will change and also your team because you're a different person. You will do things differently. So and it's true somehow, and because I think if you and we had also the conversation. I live my values very transparently, very very transparent, and it's natural that you attract people who feel the same way. It's the reason why I I have never seen Sabrina before, but we see each other and then we start to work together immediately, and it's the way the team was growing and building. It's very consistent, and it's also how the community. I don't want to say that everybody in the community is my friend, but I like to meet each of them. There's nobody I don't want to see. There's nobody entering the room and oh no, him again. No, and it's the same. You have to do if you have a brand, if you have a national international company, you have to have values which are clear for everybody. They have to know what are you standing for, what do you like, what you don't like, what is your purpose, and if you're transparent, then people can identify. And this has to be very clear. And this is a classical brand work you do with everyone. And it's funny because, I do it with Creative Mornings and it's very personal, but it's the same fact and it's the same, systematic actually.
But I feel like with Creative Mornings, it just came naturally.
Of course, we don't think about it. We're just ourselves. And people who like the way we work, they're joining and the other one don't join. Yeah, sure. But it's funny because as you said, we do it naturally. Um, but it's also proof, no, that it's uh, also for other brands that they should do it, maybe. Yeah.
And the power of actually that attraction, like when people feel attracted to your values and then they're coming to those events and they're feeling that homey feeling and they're feeling like they belong. I think it's inevitable that they will bring more people, right? I had to laugh the other day. I was bumping into a fellow podcaster, um, and I was saying to him, well, I always expect you to be at Creative Mornings. Like, why don't I see you at Creative Mornings? And he was like, yeah, 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 I know, I know. I know you are organizing Creative Mornings. And I'm like, no, I'm not organizing Creative Mornings because he heard me talk about it often and regularly. And this is, you kind of build these brand ambassadors without you even having to tell them, please tell people about it, right? And that's how all good brands grow as well, right? In the end, I think we are, and now we're going in a topic that I didn't even intend to go into, but it has been just in everyone's, in all of our lives. I think that there's just so much more talk about, well, first of all, AI and how are we leveraging it or not leveraging it, or are we being replaced? Things are speeding up, things are getting faster, but then you also have the algorithms and how do you beat them and how you get in front of people and all that. But in the end, I'm such a, I don't know, maybe call me idealist or this optimist, that I feel when there's like something so good, where people feel seen and heard and they can just be themselves, like at a Creative Mornings, naturally, human to human, that will always count so much. When I'm bringing my friends to this, maybe not all of them will be regular people coming back, but there might be one, I might bring two friends and one stays and that person then brings another one, right? So it's I don't know, I find a lot of I feel a lot of it gave me a lot of comfort, especially recently where for sure I've also had my crises where I was thinking, how am I staying relevant in a changing world as well? But especially like these, I would say these offline, in-person interactions actually become even more valuable now. Yeah. Yeah, so if you haven't been to Creative Mornings, I mean, can you finally please go? If anyone is listening and hasn't been, can you please now promise me to go and check it out?
Yeah,
Yeah. That was not a
it's very
question. It was just an observation.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's very funny that you mentioned it because this year we had a how do you call it, futurologist, and he told us that every trend had a counter trend. So he said,
Mm.
of course, everything's going to digital, and so much is going on, but there's so many people studying clay or yoga, and they every trend has also a counter trend, and I think of course, we are somehow also a counter trend. We are,
Mhm.
this meeting people, and and it's also very funny because before, if you enter a Creative Mornings event, and maybe you came from the underground or from the bus, will notice everybody's in front of their smartphones, no, and you notice. But if you enter Creative Mornings, everybody is very aware, looking around and connecting, and I don't know, somehow like a retreat. It's also the way we meet each other is very different there. So I think we are some kind of a counter trend.
That's also
Mhm.
a feedback indirect feedback we got. We introduced two new formats this year, early this year. One of them was a book club, which we get asked a lot about, but no one of us has really the time to sustain this. So we started, tried it once, but then we figured it's a lot of work to do because at least one of our team has to read the book that will be discussed and also has to well plan and manage another event. And that got a little bit too much. And the second one was the Creative Challenge, which was a digital format. So there is always a monthly theme that is the same around the world. So all of the 240 cities have their talks or workshops, whatever, on the same topic. So we wanted to get our community to take this topic and own it. So we have photographers, for example. We did that with the topic journey at first, which was quite successful, but that was only because we activated our own environment. So we invited people to share their art or their stories. We had a reel of a friend of mine who was working on a cruise ship for a year, and he talked about his life's journey among this year, for example. So we had quite a few participants in the first one or two, but then it got less because it was a digital format. But still, we did not post anything in the book club since February. But still, people ask us now in November. So how is the book club going? So we see that there is a need for people to get together and to discuss topics and talk with each other.
I love how you experiment with that. Yeah, to also say, we try this out and it's okay if some of the things are not gonna be able to be sustained, and then but it's also fine, you tried it out and people are still talking about it, and who knows, maybe someone will now reach out. People of Vienna, hello, always looking for amazing volunteers at Creative Mornings, right? Maybe someone would actually be able to take over that particular project, right? So yeah, it's very, I think, encouraging for everyone listening now as well, that not everything has to, and not everything will always work out, and you just have to sit with it, and sometimes you also have to be patient, I guess. Patience, Sandra, is that a trigger word for you?
Yeah, I wrote a questionnaire. Yeah, patience. I had to learn, yeah. I had to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that so hard, you think?
To be patient. Mm, I mean, this is a therapy question, no? Why are some people very patient, some people not? Um, I always want things in a certain way very fast, and I want to achieve something very fast, and I'm very fast. So, and for me, it's very difficult to. It was very difficult. Now, of course, I improved myself. It was always difficult for me to accept when the other people around me are not run the same direction. It was for a very long time, I was afraid that I could never lead a team because it was always like, if you don't run in my direction, I don't want to work with you. And if you don't have the same high expectation of the result, then I want to work with you. And of course, if you have this attitude, you rise very fast because you're like a working machine, but it's not fun. You're always on your own. You're working more than everybody else just to feel better than everybody else, but it's not satisfying. So it's more satisfying to have some patience and also to accept that maybe there are also other opinions, maybe also better ideas, and then, to grow um, mm, strong teams around you. And I had to arrive in a certain age where I go to that level. It's not like 10 years ago. It's like some years ago. I'm able to be more patient, and it was one of the best. I know it's not a decision developments I ever experienced, because it's very great to have strong teams around you. And also one example is also Creative Mornings, because when I started Creative Mornings, the system was always there was one host and then the volunteers. And we became such a strong team that it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. Nobody cares. Because also lots of people don't know who's actually the host, because Sabrina's hosting, and I don't know, Silvia, Judith, Sonia, Camila, we have so many different people on the stage, and they have so much space, and they organized so many events in the past. So to accept that you can always be, replaced with somebody else, it's maybe a little bit painful, but I think it's the best version of Creative Mornings Vienna we ever had, honestly. So it's great.
It's
Yeah.
like a shared leadership as well, right? And a learning opportunity, like it's a learning opportunity and growth for you all, right? For everyone involved when you're taking the stage. Yeah, Sabrina, I mean, taking the stage, I know public speaking, maybe not one of your things that you would have luckily raised your hand to do a couple of, I don't know, moons ago. But now look at you hosting, co hosting, interviewing. How does that, yeah, how has that shaped you now that you are actually stepping out of that comfort zone or expanding that comfort zone? Like, I would want to frame it.
You're right. I don't like public speaking. I did my education on TV and radio, but always behind the camera, you know. Yeah, so I chose a career that makes it impeccable for others that I am in front of the camera, because otherwise nothing would have been managed behind the camera. You know? That was a strategic decision as well, because I never wanted to do that. But early this year, I decided it's time for me to step up front and also take the stage. And now I'm hosting my third event next week, and I'm really looking forward to it. So it really has been a great development for me this year as well. I gained a lot of confidence from it. Um, and I remember the first event I hosted was the one in May with the Vienna Business Agency, which was one of our biggest ever. I think we had 300 participation requests on two platforms together. So some of them were double, because we had a quite complicated system back then. But I was there and I saw all these people joining, and I was, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then it was also the setting was the stage was a bit higher than usual, so we had to go upstairs, and you're looking down at your audience, and it felt big. But I think it was necessary for me to start that big so that I'm more comfortable in every audience. Because if I would have started with an event with like 25 people, I probably would have stayed in this bubble for a long time. But now I feel comfortable on stage, and also not only at Creative Mornings. I'm not the only one who made this experience. We had speakers that we really had to convince to come to us. Patrick, for example, who is also one of our sponsors, he did his first speech, I think it was 2 years ago, on the topic of treasure. And he was so nervous, and he was like, we were filming with a smartphone, and he was like, this is not getting published, right? And we were back then we were just doing a pilot for a format that we were just creating for social media, and it didn't work out in this location, so no, it didn't get published. But this year he spoke at a conference in Hamburg to more than 1,000 people, and he felt comfortable doing so, and he started his speaking career with us. So these are the moments that really feel like I, as a Creative Mornings team member, have an impact on other people's lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick is a good example. Shout out Patrick. I hope he listens to this episode all the way to the end.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, because he is one of the friends I made at Creative Mornings as well. Like I met him that day when he was giving that speech. It must have been one of the first few ones where I was joining. Not the first few ones, but then yeah, isn't isn't that lovely? Yes, and it was a great talk, and all of the talks are great, and the community is fantastic. So of course, I would encourage everyone to try it out, no matter where they are in the world, and to follow your work. Of course, all our wonderful Vienna people in the house, go check it out here in Vienna. You will bump into Sandra, Sabrina, and me as well, for sure. And of course, I can't let you go without going through the legendary #Impact quickfire round. Are you ready for it? Making an impact means.
Sabrina, please.
Giving others a stage.
Connecting the right people, the perfect time, the perfect place.
Who inspires you in the way they build community?
Sorry to say, it's us. I never saw a company, a agency, or organization who created a team full of volunteers working so hard beside their normal jobs than Creative Mornings Vienna did. So it's us. Sorry, I'm inspired by the way.
Don't apologize for that. I absolutely second that. You are doing brilliant at that.
It's
Sabrina?
actually what I wanted to say, but I didn't dare to.
This is why we are a team, Sabrina.
And what could everyone do right now to make the world an even better place?
Be kind. Be kind. Everything is difficult. Be kind. Be kind to a waiter. Be kind when you go to the supermarket, and be respectful.
Listening and not just talking. Because we often listen in order to be able to react, so that we position ourselves. But I think it would be more important to really listen to what others have to say, also read between the lines, and connect to them on a different level by doing so.
True.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me. I will put all your links, of course, in the show notes. Please connect with Sabrina and Sandra. I will put the Creative Mornings links and join one of the events. Subscribe to the newsletter. They have an awesome newsletter as well, where you get the updates of the upcoming events. And I don't know where are you hanging, like on socials. Can I put your LinkedIn, your Instagram? I will check that with you, where you want people to connect with you directly.
I'm a very boring LinkedIn person.
Yeah, me too.
That's okay. I hang there as well. It's gotten a little bit more, fun over there as well, I guess, with the videos popping up there. And so, it's all right. It's not boring. It's okay. I'll put
I'm
your
on
links in.
Instagram, but I only do sports there. So if you're interested in bodybuilding, also follow my Instagram. But business-wise, I'm on LinkedIn.
I'll put all that in there. Thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for joining today. If you would like to get your voice heard on #Impact, just send a voice note at #impact.com/story. I will include the link in the show notes as well, so you can easily find it. And if you love what you're hearing here, please tell your friends about it too. I talk to you soon. Bye.